I think Ed's point about the timing of it is a good one. Some of it we're having the hardest conversations right during the worst part of it, during the construction of the heavy trucks. That gravel comes down and we keep adding it because we want to maintain the road, right? The big heavy trucks with the frequency stop going over, we don't have to add gravel as often. So then the dust suppressant should act longer because it's this top layer then. That may not be perfect, but it should work better than this last coating. Beyond that and water, I'm not aware of other options.
We didn't want the water due to the fact that, we was already in rain and they're dealing with this clay and this soft road anyhow. You add water, you're not helping your situation.
I say we give that dust abatement system a little more time to work in. If I can get them out here. We are anticipating to stand down this weekend for Easter weekend, so we get our pours done on Thursday and Friday. So if I can maybe get him out here on Saturday, do the road.
Maybe extend it a little further so that they're not carrying.
And maybe give that time to come in as these layers keep getting built up, and give a little more time to essentially do what it says it's supposed to do.
I would suggest too, Greg, I realized that you were on to the maintenance part of it right there. If we had too much stone and stuff through the road on top of the other, I would actually recommend, I think, that we start all over with the initial coat on top of this again.
The two, do the two,
You put too much stone on top of that.
Can I recommend something?
Yes, please.
I worked for the state for 30 years. I mean, that's no big deal. But anyway, we used to use dust oil.
Dust oil?
Yeah, it was like a linseed oil kind of stuff. They shoot the shoulders of that to stabilize the gravel and stuff on the shoulders. Why can't they shoot something like that down along there and keep the dust down?
I haven't looked at the contents of the dust abatement, but maybe that is linseed oil. Ray, did you bring in those flyers?
Well, I just was thinking that.
Yeah, I'm just thinking because it does look like an oil. It may be something similar to that.
But that's dust oil, so. And they kept the dust.
It was a little tacky when they put it down after,
Yeah. But once it's soaked in, I mean,
Right.
Yeah.
But I walked it, and it was a little tacky. It wasn't completely dry, but it was.
Let's chase that one out.
tacky.
My sense is that it may be the comparable product, but we just add more gravel on top. But if it's not the similar thing, let's look into it and see what we can find out.
Would be a good idea.
Yes, sir.
They do calcium on racetrack. Calcium is mixed with water. They spray that on there, keeps the dust out. Calcium.
Yeah, but we don't want them going over 15.
So, just to recap what I'm hearing, to recap what I'm hearing, because it's something I do want to come across very clearly. I'm certain there's some people that are genuinely concerned, are we just going to come in and disappear because we got our permit? No, 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 no. We want to be a good neighbor and we want to take care of things. We don't always get it right. That's just part of it. But as soon as we hear about something, we want to make it better and work together to make it better. And that may sound like just a story, but that's really honestly how we try to work. So what I'm hearing tonight, I've heard a recommendation on looking into this oil type. I suspect it's similar, but we'll look into it. We're looking at using the dust suppressant again over the gravel again. We'll continue to, I'm hearing continue to run water and being mindful of sweeping, which is happening now, okay? I also heard a request for nuisance payments, and that's something we're going to take away and think about very directly. I do know those things happen. It's often easier to give money at the end of a project because it's kind of like giving a kid a really big allowance when, early on. Give me allowance later in the week too. We do want to leave it right with people there.
You forgot the speeders.
Negative. What's that?
You forgot the speeders.
Yeah, let me get there, absolutely. That one actually irritates me. We have a very strong safety culture and people get run off. Well, on pipeline, when you get fired, it's called being run off. You get run off for doing things that are unsafe. We also have something called a safety stand down. If something happens that we think was a significant risk, we literally stop the work and make them have a long meeting. Why does that work? Because they're not making money, it costs them money. So Greg, what he said earlier may not have gotten through is he's going to have a safety stand down. What that means is he's not going to let them work first thing tomorrow morning. He's going to force them to sit there and talk about it and figure out what happened. Truckers are notoriously bad. for this at times. And if you see something that's not safe, let us know, we'll come down. That's just not acceptable. That said, we're not in the cab with him every day, so it helps for us to know that it was Tar. We'll talk to Tar directly.
Does Yost still work for you, Yost Trucking?
Who?
Yost?
Yost?
Well, there's a Yost truck that, there's a little boy from the trailer park, and he rides his bike. It's not a little boy, it's an older kid, but he rides his bike, I think he goes to work. And the other day when I was coming home, he ran that little boy off the road. He saw him. He could
Yost?
not get over.
Is that
How do I spell
Y-O-S?
Yost?
Or Keith Yost, or Ray,
What was that?
Keith Yost, or Ray quad accident.
Y-O-S-T?
Y-O-S-T.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was an older gentleman driving the truck.
Well,
I
if
just
he,
want to let you know that.
if he is a
This little
subcontractor to
boy-
one of us, he may not be much longer if that's how he's driving.
Yeah.
No, we do try to be fair to them because we don't want people to be confused, but if there's definitive connection to someone driving unsafely, that limits their time with us.
I'll make calls about this right after we have this meeting because,
Aren't the trucks numbered?
yes, yeah.
That actually
So
helps
they
us attract.
should,
Yeah.
they should have gotten a truck number on what ran them off the road.
If you can. I mean, if not, I mean,
Yeah.
but you can only do so much. What else? I really am trying to make certain we hear everything you're saying. Goalposts are easy for us, you know? Help us know where to aim.
Until the construction is done, can you make sure that you have a representative from Columbia at each of our meetings? Answer questions?
Yes, sir.
And not just leave it up to these guys to have to then figure out what's going on?
Yeah. Yeah, I
That'll be
actually,
very helpful.
what we've done is Anastasia is our community relations person. She actually is about to have her first year very soon, so we're very excited for that, and it means that I'm losing a key person from our team for the next few months. But the good news is she's local ops, which means that she's here in the longer term. Greg is our construction manager, so he's the last one to leave the site, so he'll be at each of the meetings. And Ray, instead of bringing our right-of-way manager, we brought Ray because he's the one on the ground each day. Ray can be at each of the meetings as well. So I think what you'll definitely see is Greg and Ray at each of the meetings. And then depending what comes up, we may have other people attend as well. Would that be adequate?
That'd be fine.
What else can we do to help? We really are trying to be a good neighbor. I don't want to waste your meeting time, but I also don't want to leave you frustrated, so.
And I just want to add to Olin's point, while I'm out on maternity leave, my manager will be my point of contact, and she's local to the Canonsburg area as well. I'm going to leave these brochures that kind of give some details on the project as well as our work on Delashon. Her contact information's on the back, along with Ray's and then our other land agent, Jeff.
I'm gonna leave my cards here, anybody on Delashon or the trailer park, if you need to call me, I'll come and talk to you. We'll go from there, okay? I'll leave them on the desk here.
In closing, you know, I think that we did get off on a bad foot, but I think that we're headed the right direction now. And I think we'll be able to move on forward from here.
Appreciate it.
So, yeah, we appreciate it.
Thank you for taking your time to come.
Thank you.
We appreciate that.
Thanks, Ted and Bill.
Thank you. Appreciate all your help.
You guys don't have to stay for the whole meeting unless you want to. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Folks, have a good evening, huh?
Thank you.
Department reports, road department, Ed.
First thing I'd like to see, if we can take that Red International off the auction block.
It's on the agenda.
Oh, it's on there? I haven't looked at that. See if we're, got any plans on ordering a truck. About a 6-month wait to get one, that's why I wanna take that Red International, because we need that to ditch this summer. And it's hard to ditch with one truck.
Yeah, we'll have to do some consideration on that.
Midland Asphalt got the oil bid through the co-op. Don Groudon's gonna haul our number 8 stone. We covered Delashon. We're gonna be tarring and chipping Donegal Avenue, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th Street, Railroad, Noble, and Lafayette, West Alexander, Waynesburg to Shepherd, Old National to the bridge where we left off last year. We're gonna continue that to the bridge and Greaves Road. That's our tar and chip. We're looking into reprofiling. We're checking on 2 roads, Ely and Gashel. And because reprofiling to this township is a new thing, I picked 2 of the heavier traveled roads to see how it'll hold up if we go that route. Township equipment rental, to put it down, soot coat came in at 21.6 a square yard, and Midland came in at 15 cents a square yard. I suggest we go with Midland, because they got the oil bid, and one won't shoot the other one's oil, and blah, blah, blah. So they came in cheaper, so I say we go with them. The building bid opening, when we get that back from the engineer, are we gonna open that here, or is that gonna be opened at the, we're gonna take care of that here? That's about all I got. We've been putting in some pipes, and I got a pipe down on Main Road. It's a 36-inch swash pipe. It's rotted out on the bottom. They wanted to extend it to put a head wall in so that, because of the driveway. And our pipe needs to be replaced, so I'd rather replace that pipe before they put a head wall on, and we have to deal with that.
Fine.
That's about all I got.
Fire Department, Eric Graham.
In March, we ran 24 calls, there's 15 fire calls, 9 EMS calls, including 1 lock-in, children in a vehicle, electrical problem, a police matter, 1 road freight vehicle fire, 5 EMS calls, 1 crash with injuries, 1 extrication on a crash, 1 water rescue, 2 hazardous conditions, 4 dispatch and canceled route, 5 no incident found in arrival dispatch, and 1 CO detector activation due to malfunction. On those calls, we expended about 265 man hours in that in work details at our station. As most of you seen, the construction's moving along. That's accounted for a good bit of time for some of us, because apparently we are a general contractor now. So the concrete floors are down. They probably won't be this week. It'll be next week. They'll start putting the shell up in the building. They have to let the concrete cure for a little while. We're probably looking at about, once they start building the shell, we're inside of 6 weeks until it'll be completed. We'll probably actually be waiting on the floor epoxy guy for that to cure before we can move in. Everything else will probably be done. As far as the funding for it, right now it looks like we're about 70,000 short. We're still trying to raise those funds. We had applied for a mortgage on the building. About 7 weeks ago we applied, haven't heard anything back, so that's not an issue. That's about all I have for that.
I'll do your fire marshal report.
Yeah. I've spoken with a couple of the businesses who were missed in the past for the emergency access ordinance for the Knox boxes. The ones I spoke to are open and receptive to it, so I don't think it's going to be a problem. And I did sit down with the people from Columbia about access to their site too, and they're going to take care of that. That's all I have on that.
Anything on water and sewage?
We got our first billing from John Force. What was it, 27?
Somewhere around there.
Around $2,700, which is somewhat higher than what we have been used to paying. Tom Bibby's price, the monthly base charge was $1,500. Monthly base charge with John Forrest is $2,250. The hourly rate for repairs was $30 under Tom Bibby, and $60 an hour under John Forrest. We are able to save about $250 a month. We previously paid for some of the permitting through John Ritchie that we can now do through John Forrest at no additional cost. There'll be some savings there. Till we see actually what it's going to cost us in extras on his bill, we won't know how much how much it's really gonna cost us, because, you know, I mean, it really has like 1 month in. We still have a learning curve we're going through. The meter reader is still learning his job, and so if anybody out here that has water or sewer gets a bill that doesn't seem right, it might not be right. Have us double check it, call the office and say, you know, that your bill seems to be too high or too low, because there's some parts of that we just don't have down just perfect just yet. Other than that, we really don't have anything else going. We do have a major project we're working on of replacing the grinder pump, or the pump, not the grinder pump, but the pump down on Tunnel Street. It's gonna be a fairly expensive project. What was the total cost on it, do you remember, Tammy? I saw the prices on it. It's gonna be like 26,000 or
It was a better
something
price
like
than
that.
what Tom thought
Yeah.
it was gonna be originally.
So we'll know more about that as that progresses.
Good for water and sewer.
Yeah, that's all we got.
Code enforcement, Mark Gordon.
Hi. Since the last meeting, I used 25 hours. 6 violation notices, 0 citations, 0 hearings attended, 1 review, 16 follow-up investigations. We have 1 demolition, 1 violation corrected, and 7 extensions granted for property owners that are in violation. They're in the process of making the corrections. That's all I have. Any questions?
I got a question. How did you, whenever you first started here, how did you find the boundaries of the township and all that?
I'm somewhat familiar with the area. As you can obviously see, a lot of you probably know me or know somebody that does know me. I work for the district court, I work for Judge Ward's office. So I've been on almost all these roads. The specific boundaries, I don't know exactly. I went out with Chief Yankozik, and he kind of showed me where the boundaries are. Your township's not real well defined in some parts.
Did the Board of Supervisors ever give you a list of people to go after?
No, absolutely not. I do this for 16 different municipalities in Washington County, Greene County, and 1 in Westmoreland County. There's simply no way to effectively do this job with what you're suggesting. It just wouldn't work. Basically, what I do, the violations are found essentially 2 different ways. They're either complaint-based or what I observe on view. That's essentially it.
Any questions, Douglas, Zach?
No, I don't have any. So, gentlemen, back
Good,
yes, sir.
Rodney.
When police chief gives his report, he gives us so many DUIs, whatever his call is. And I don't want no names, but is there any way we can get the types of violations that you have against the citizens of this community?
I can probably break it down, like if it's a property maintenance violation, or you want to know if it's somebody's grass is too high versus...
I want to know what's going on in this community, is what I want to know.
We could probably break it down a little bit further. That's possible. That's something to address. Yeah, we could probably do that. It would be, these are all your local ordinances. Everything that I cite under or give a warrant, it's a local ordinance. The chief, his could go anywhere from a summary, which is what mine are, all the way up to a criminal felony type violation, which I can't do. Mine are all your local ordinances. They're your ordinances. I can look at this a little bit closer and try to give you a little bit more definition as to whether it was for grass, vehicles, or if it's a dangerous structure, something of that nature.
Now, is that something that you would do, or would you have to ask permission to do that?
We're not getting into essentially what an investigation, anything of that nature. It's not specific enough that it's infringing upon anybody's rights, I don't think. So I can just, we can make that adjustment. I'll make that adjustment for the next meeting. Obviously, given the time of the year, you're probably gonna see the grass, that sort of thing, you'll see more of those. Different times of the year, different things are more, relevant. I did try to break it down somewhat, as far as we had a demolition, that was obviously a dangerous structure type situation. Yeah, I'll break it down more for you.
Good,
Yes,
JD. Actually, Mike had his hand up first.
Good, Mike.
Just a little bit more on what Rodney said. You said that when you go out, a lot of it's what you see or something that's reported to you. If, say you have a violation against me, do I have a right to know if it's somebody, if it's you or if it's a neighbor? Do I have a right to know who turned it in?
A lot of what I get is, unfortunately, and it's like it's in every municipality, Mr. Anonymous likes to call, and that, I get a lot of that. Mr. East Beth Township, Mr. Anonymous, he's 90% of the calls I get. What I do is go out and I'm gonna investigate the call. If it's founded, then I'll be talking to the owner. If I find it's an unfounded complaint, I keep on going. That's the only way I can do it. I understand exactly what you're saying.
Well, in the specific situation that I was actually involved in, the person got a notice for a structure, and we'd already tore the structure down 3 weeks prior to getting
You're
the notice.
the gentleman up on 102 Highland Avenue. And the reason you got a notice, you never applied for a demolition permit. You
We
were
didn't have
actually
to, the wind blew it over.
I have pictures of it. Come in Monday and we'll talk about it.
I'm just saying, 3 weeks after he got a notice.
I don't know
and we
why
already
you
had the
guys,
building
were you the
gone.
gentleman with the building?
No, I helped him tear the building.
All right, I'm not gonna, but he did not apply for a permit. He should have had a permit. I have pictures of what the building looked like at that point in time. So that's why it happened the way it did. He did not apply for a permit, and he wasn't cited. So
I understand that. but-
And I told him, we had that conversation, and I thought he was good.
Okay.
So you here on his behalf?
No, I'm just here because I helped.
All right, but thank you for
We were
helping.
just trying to get it cleaned up.
And thanks, that's actually one that was corrected, thank you. But the reason it went out the way it did, because I don't do the typing, and you don't want me sending out a handwritten notice. My handwriting is lousy, I'll tell you now. So the secretary does all my reports, that's
Right,
sent
that
out.
was my next question.
So
How does that work?
that's probably where part of it was, but it's not really her fault. He did not apply for a permit. So, if he's not happy with the way I handled it.
No, but I wanted to know the process.
Because he wasn't cited for not having a permit. I have pictures of what it looked like. It's an absolute fact that he was in violation, 100%, and I chose not to cite him. I can't see him not being happy with that.
Yeah.
I don't, if he's not, he can come in Monday and talk to me. There was another gentleman, yes, sir?
Yeah, just to clarify, I had a question. Dave asked you if you were handling the list. You said no.
No.
You said it's either visual stuff that you see.
What I can
or
see,
or complaint based,
Mhm.
okay? My question would be, if you don't get a list, how do you get the complaints? Are they called, do you have a hotline, a complaint hotline?
Yeah.
Do they call into the township? And the township
Actually,
gives
if
a
you
list?
call here, and you'll see I have two phones on. This phone, which is turned off right now, and I only answered up until 4 o'clock. This is the complaint line. If somebody, I hold it out a little bit away from them, because it's usually,
So the complaints,
What'll happen, you'll call here if you want to complain about something, or you can fill out a complaint form, and they'll put it on my desk. You don't, at this point, you're not required to give your name. You can file an anonymous complaint. So, that's kind of where that's at. It's not necessarily a list, it's what's going to be on my desk when I come in Monday morning, and I'm here every Monday morning from 7 o'clock until noon. Please don't be waiting there at 7 o'clock, give me a chance to get settled in. Come in about 8 o'clock, I'll be more than happy to talk with any of you. But that's how it's done. It's not necessarily a list, but it's, if somebody calls in with a complaint, it's put on my desk. And like I said, it's like that in every township. I'll get anonymous complaints. some people were very forward. They want to come forward and, I can list them on the citations, a witness or a victim. Sometimes the person is a victim, and we'll name them as such, and, they come to court. I haven't had to cite anyone yet. The people have been actually more than compliant. 7 extensions granted, people were working on things. I have 1 demolition. It's really unheard of. People have really, been good so far. Did I answer your question?
Basically. So the calls come direct to you? The calls come into the township and then they put them on your desk?
Yeah, if somebody is needing to get a hold of me, and I've told both the secretaries, if they can give this number out. The other phone, this number's usually for my other work, for Ethan's office, or, it's easier so I know who's calling and I can kind of keep things separated, so. But yeah, you can call me.
Going back to the list thing, there is actually a list because you can go on the website and print off a paper and then bring it in. So wouldn't that, there is technically.
Anyone can make a complaint.
Right, that's what I'm saying. But you do get a list,
I think
you're not here all the time to get it.
No.
So you're gonna get those sheets of paper.
Let me clarify, the supervisors, the last time I'm gonna say it, the supervisors.
I didn't say that.
Mike, I'm talking, you're not right now, okay?
I was talking, you're interrupting me.
I'm trying to clarify this, all right? There's already been a right to know filed about this. There has not been no list that the Board of Supervisors gave him to target people.
Didn't say that.
I'm just clarifying
That's what I'm
it.
saying.
In fact, did we not specifically tell you when we hired you that we would not give you a list?
Yeah, that was pretty much our, I haven't really seen any of these fellows since the night that I spoke with you to be hired. Like I said before, I couldn't conduct business that way with these fellows giving me a list. And I won't
say
that way. I didn't say
that.
No, sir, I didn't.
Put words in
Yeah,
my mouth.
I'm not trying to.
You putting words in my mouth?
No, sir.
All I said was, you can go on the website, you can print it off, or you can write off the Donegal Township website.
Yeah.
So there are actually pieces of paper, when you come in, that can be filled out and handed in here. Am I correct?
Yeah, it'd be a complaint.
All I have.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Not that difficult.
Yeah. Did I answer your question?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right.
Good, Bob.
I guess I'm gonna rephrase the thing that was said a few minutes ago about the supervisors giving it. I guess my question is gonna come down and say, were you given a list by any individual or group of individuals in this township that you should look at?
No, no, and
did you tell anybody that you were given a list?
no.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Like I said before, I do this for 16 municipalities. I simply can't conduct business that way, and I won't, because in my opinion, it's not an ethical way to do it. Will people try and call a complaint in? If I have two, and I deal with this all the time, you have 2 neighbors that don't get along. They don't like each other. So they're gonna one's gonna turn the other one in. That's something that I run into. And generally I can see that, but that's just one instance where you'll have someone trying to use my office to retribution against somebody else. But I've done this long enough, I think I'm pretty good at figuring it out and not letting it happen.
JD, hold on a minute.
You got a question?
Yeah, you get paid to do this, right?
Yes, sir.
You said you had 16 municipalities you
Yes,
take care
sir.
of, plus this one.
Including this one.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
16 municipalities.
Part-time, yeah.
Before that, you stated this township is so unspecified or whatever, you can't do your job effectively.
I said the boundaries
Okay,
are
well, so
not,
you said you can't do
that's
your
why I
job
went
effectively.
with, no, I didn't say that. I said that in order to know where the
I'm sure there's
boundaries
a couple
are,
people back there that heard that come out of your mouth.
in order to know where the boundaries are, John took me out to show me where the boundaries
But how
are.
can you go around citing people if you're only here a couple hours a week?
I haven't cited anybody.
No, but I mean, that's your job, is to go out and find violations and ride around looking
My
and see.
job's not to cite people, my job's to, if there's a yeah. It's not to, I'm not here to make a windfall for the township, it's just.
No, to make it look
about-
better, or to keep it
Yeah,
you know, decent.
doesn't mean that anyone has to be cited. No one's been cited. I've been here
Well,
twice.
I guess I misstated that about cited. How can you go around and find violations if you only do it a couple hours a week?
I'm here 5 hours on Monday. I drive around to see, how many hours do you think I should be here?
That's what he's contracted for, Jim.
I
It's
think
5
5
hours, that's his contract.
is enough.
That's
Hired for 5
the
hours.
standard for most of the smaller townships, some of the smaller, it depends. You've never had this before. It may get to the point where you need more, but that's kind of the standard right now.
She worked 400 hours a week between all the townships.
No, I didn't say that.
You said
Some
25 hours
townships,
standard.
Good, JD.
actually, sir, 16 times 5 is 50. It's 80 hours. 75.
You said 25 hours.
No, I said 5.
Okay.
So that's 75 hours a week. It's 8 o'clock at night right now. I'm still here. I came from somewhere before I was here. And before that, I was in East Beth Town. Today, my day started out in East Beth, Morgan Township, Jefferson Township, back to East Beth for a zoning hearing, served papers from Ward's office, and now I'm here. That's my day. Did I answer your question?
Yeah,
And
that's pretty much, but it just didn't seem, it didn't come across right, I guess.
Wait, Darren. JD, do you have something?
I wanted to talk to something right here.
Yeah, Mark, I was just purely an observation or suggestion.
Yes, sir.
You're talking about neighbors, and if neighbors not getting along.
Happens all the time.
If they do get along, then they should go next door, knock on the neighbor's door, sit down with them over a cup of coffee or a beer, and resolve their problems. And if they don't get along, they shouldn't have a problem putting their name on a complaint.
I agree with
Instead
that.
of anonymous.
I hate
And that would
this.
probably
Yeah.
resolve some of the
Yeah.
question marks here.
You're absolutely right. Mr. Anonymous is, I gave
That's where the
this
problem lies.
same speech about 3.5 hours ago up in East Beth Township at a zoning meeting because we had a guy in, the complaint was based on Mr. Anonymous. He called in a complaint, and he's not there obviously, but this other fellow that really isn't bothering anybody is.
Why would you take it?